Hello everyone, my name is Brandon McCarthy. I'm 5-0 professional. Join me here at the Wildcard for a training session.
Is Ashley Fissenden from Notjustboxing here with Brandon McCarthy. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm good, yeah, all good. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Live in Santa Monica, nice little cruise down here.
Yeah, nice little scenery here behind us. It's good, the sun is shining, so can't complain.
How long have you been in America for now?
I've been here about 2 years now, so I've been professional in a year, so I'm 5-0 now as a pro. But I first came over, my first year here was just testing the waters, seeing if I liked it, and then I made the decision then to turn over.
And what's it been like at Wildcard lately?
Oh, it's been brilliant at Wildcard. The sparring is great, the coaching is great. I've been working with Marvin Samodio there, a great coach, and things have been going good there. I've been learning and developing. I'm looking forward to the next fight.
So we filmed a bit of your training, it was your first day back. How was Cancun?
Cancun was great, yeah, it was good to get away and have a bit of downtime. Back to work now in the gym today, so back to square one again, building up the fitness and getting ready to announce the fight date then soon.
So it's a pleasure to finally speak with you. You're one of the best amateurs to come out of Ireland, 16 national titles. Yeah. How does that even happen? Did you have to win every single year for that to happen before turning over?
Yeah, I first started when I was 6, and then once I turned 11, then it was my first time going into the national championships. And from then on, then every year I just kept winning, coming back, defending my title all the way up to elite level until I won 2 elite titles, and then packed it in, then came over here, and this is where I turned pro.
How many fights did you have in the end, in the amateurs?
I had about 215 amateur fights in the end, maybe 15 or 16 losses. I've had experience at all international levels, you know what I mean, multi-nations, Europeans, all the way up to world level. So.
And then there's a bit of a touchy subject, but obviously the Olympic qualifiers and everything, what happened there?
Yeah, so the dream was the Olympic Games since I was 6 years old. I worked all the way up to it. 2 weeks before the qualifiers then, I broke my hand, and that put me in a cast then for 6 months, sorry. And that was my dream gone, and that's when I decided to come over here and chase a new dream.
Mm-hmm. So I guess a bit of a blessing in disguise, obviously, coming out here.
Yeah, exactly. Everything happens for a reason, you know what I mean? At the time, I thought everything was shattered and my dreams were gone. But little did I know, it was just setting me up for where I am now. And it's all a part of the plan.
So away from all the camps going great, training's great out here, what's it like living in America and just being around all of the talent in the gym and everything?
Yeah, it's great, you know what I mean? Now, it's good on its bad sides as well. Everyone thinks I'm over here living the dream, and he's down by the beach. You can see here behind me, like, it's not all this, you know what I mean? There is the bad sides to it as well. We all have our own struggles and trying to make things work as well, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be here and keep pushing it every day, making the dream come true.
And what's the situation right now with a fight day management?
Yeah, so at the minute now I'm free at the minute, so I'm just looking at my options, staying fit, getting back in the gym, and then hopefully start talking to a few people and organise a few stuff, and we'll have a date soon.
Mm-hmm. So you've only been pro for a year, so I'm really intrigued about the amateurs. That's what I really want to talk about and dive into. How did you just be that successful and be that active? Was it your dad that stayed on you as a kid?
Yeah. So my dad started coaching me since I was 6. and he always kept me disciplined into sport, into doing something, you know what I mean, keeping away from the streets and away from all the bad stuff that's easy for a young guy to get dragged into, you know what I mean. So he kept me disciplined, and we trained all the way up to winning my first national title. And then after we got the first one, then we just knew we had to keep coming back every year, defended. Then it was all about getting the national vest and representing Ireland. That was the next big thing. And once we had done that, then we just knew that we had to keep coming back every year, defending it, going to Europeans, going to the Worlds, and just representing Ireland, representing the flag. And that was a big thing for me, do you know what I mean?
So when you went away, represented Ireland, got some wins, and then you came back to school.
Yeah,
you come back home and you go into school. What was that like?
It was unbelievable. Even from like my leaving cert back home in school, I went to Cuba, to Havana for a 2-week training camp. So I was trying to balance both being in school and training at the same time, travelling the world, representing Ireland. So it was great to come back to see all your friends and stuff in school after being over, representing your country abroad and winning medals and things like that. It was a great feeling, yeah. It's something I'll never forget.
Have you got any mememories of just like, is there anything that stands out in your head of like walking in, maybe being clapped? Like I saw there was an Irish guy, you'll know his name.
Tyke O'Donnell. I know exactly. I looked at the video this morning.
It gives me shivers.
Yeah, it's brilliant, you know what I mean? And that's one thing about the Irish people. We always back our own. No matter where we go, everyone's going to support you, you know what I mean? We always back our own. So there's been a few times, I came back to school after winning medals and you get that round of applause of everyone, you're just looking around at everyone, you're like, yeah, this is what I want more of this, you know what I mean? And that's where the hunger came from. I want to make that audience even bigger now and make that a country.
So what do you think it is about Irish fighters that, obviously right now, let's just list a few Irish fighters that are doing so well. Kieran Malloy's headlining in Galway, you've got Big Bang out this week, you've obviously got yourself that's just going through the motions right now, waiting for learning, getting your opportunity. What is it about Ireland that...
It's just our fighters, you know, we're fighting in our blood, it's just brought into us, you know what I mean? And we just need that platform now and that attention out there to show what we can do. And pro boxing in Ireland is going so good at the minute. We have the likes of myself, Callum, Pierce, all these up and coming fighters now that are putting us out on the map. We're getting seen on the Zone, all these big platforms and these streaming services, you know what I mean? And it gives inspiration to the younger amateur fighters coming up then as well. If they want to take this route, that there's going to be options there for them, do you know what I mean? That we've opened the door for it.
Mm-hmm. And in America right now, obviously near you, like you said, Callum Walsh, he's got a fight coming up. You know him very well, right? Childhood?
Yeah, me and Callum have trained. We were both on the Irish team since we were kids, so we had stayed in hotels together, travelled the world together, and now we're both back over here training at the Wildcard, one of the best gyms in the world, you know what I mean? So it's crazy to see where it can bring you to. But again, it's just this pro game is a new game again, so we just build up again and we keep going.
Have you got any good stories with Callum of like trips away or anything that we could say on camera?
Yeah, I was going to say I have a few stories now, but we probably couldn't say too much. But no, I remember one time me and Callum, as I was saying to you earlier when we were talking, I was saying making weight in the amateurs. I never used to do it strictly, or I never used to do it right. And I remember a few times, like myself and Callum, we used to love Apache pizza. So we'd be at a training camp and late at night, coaches are gone to bed, we'd order an Apache, sneak out the window, meet the delivery driver, bring it up to the room and eat it. And then that night then one of us would sneak out onto the window and go up the roof and hide all the evidence, the rubbish in the chimney. We'd come up the next morning, the coach would check our weight and we're all like 2 kilo heavier. He'd be like, guys, what happened since I weighed you? We're like, I drank a load of water last night, coach, I'm sorry. And we'd be just eating pizzas up in the room and just having a crack. So things like that, it's good to look back on, you know what I mean? But now I can see like that's obviously not being a professional athlete and things like that. So I know it's different now, but we were just kids back then, you know, so it was good.
That's sort of what the amateurs for though, right? You got to go through the mistakes and the motions. That's what I'm saying.
You learn from it, you know what I mean? You have a bit of crack with the lads. You got to meet fighters from all over Ireland and all over the world when I travelled as well. So you have these little stories and mistakes that you learn from, but they're good to look back on. Was there anyone on like the Team Ireland trips that stood out that was always like a bit of the joker or like, you know? Myself sometimes. Too much, yeah. Sometimes too much, but no. There'd always be a bit of crack. Even myself and Callum, we'd have crack, or you'd have some guys from Belfast up the north of Ireland that would come down and you'd have a bit of slagging with them and a bit of back and forth banter, you know what I mean? But that kind of bonded us all as a team and made me grow, and it was good for my confidence though as well, like, do you know what I mean? Because I was able to come over here and move here for the last 2 years on my own and just bump and talk to anyone and chat to anyone, so it's been great, yeah.
And in Ireland, like, is there certain rivalries from towns and stuff too? Because like we've got pretty much north and south. Anything south of London, and then anything north of London, that's sort of our...
Yeah, of course we have our own disputes back home as well, especially like the north. If you're from the north and you're fighting someone from the south in like the national championships, there's always that bit of a rivalry there, you know what I mean? You have people who want to see this person win and people who want to see that win.
Do you feel it on fight night? Is there a lot of like? You see
I have felt it now, especially sometimes I fought guys from, even myself from up the north, you know what I mean? And me myself personally have no issue with them, you know what I mean? Like the past is the past, like. But then you have a few people that get a few drinks into them on their team and stuff, and then they come down and they try intimidate you and they try say a few things when you're warming up and stuff. But just let it over the head, you know what I mean? It's just that's the game we're in.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, as a pro, I know you're going to want to go through absolutely everything and win all the titles and potentially move up to super lightweight and everything. But in terms of the plan, how do you see the next few years going? Do you want to stay at Wildcard? Are you? Yeah,
everything's going good so far. I've always said, if it's not broken, why fix it? Do you know what I mean? So everything's been going good. The sparring's been going good. Training with Marvin has been brilliant as well. So the next, say, 2 years, I want to keep building my record up, building the experience up, getting in with all these different styles. And then when the time is right, then we jump up then and we take that next step up to that world level.
And how was it stepping in the gym and meeting Marvin for the first time, obviously when you moved out of Churchill's?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, it was very intimidating now going to the Wildcard because it's such a big gym, you know what I mean? And I remember my first few days in there, I was trying to impress everyone. I was trying to be the man. I was trying to do this and do that. I'd only met Marvin and Freddie and stuff like that, so I was trying to impress everyone and be the man in the gym. But I started talking with Marvin and getting comfortable with him. He just told me to settle down, stay calm, stay relaxed and enjoy it. And then once I started getting comfortable in him and trusting him, we just clicked, you know what I mean? And we just bonded, and I've been working with him ever since, and it's been great.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk about Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. So fight's coming up. Hopefully you're going to be on a run with him tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Like, what's it been like just with that buzz in the gym?
It's been unreal. I remember I got a photo with him a few weeks ago, and I was saying, back in Ireland I used to be like 5 or 6 years of age. My dad used to come in at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning to wake me up to watch Pacquiao fighting in Vegas. Be sitting up on the couch, my eyes barely open, you know what I mean, trying to watch him. And now he's in the gym and I'm around camp with him, his people, his team, do you know what I mean? It goes to show where you can get to from being a young child to now being at camp with him, so it's unreal, and it gives me that motivation to know that I know it is possible and I can make it.
And for him to be disciplined, that's the only way he could be fighting at 46. Like, he's lived the life of a fighter. And for you personally, is there anything you take out of watching Manny Pacquiao's career that you sort of look up to? Oh,
definitely. Just the discipline he had, the consistency of sticking through it, and he trained hard. I've always watched training videos of him, of his techniques, his style, his core workout, everything has been unbelievable. So I always try to take a little pinch of this and a pinch of that and try to add it to my own game, just so I can be half the fighter he was. It'd be fucking unbelievable, you know what I mean?
Who's your favourite fighter right now?
My favourite, since he's back, Pacquiao, yeah. Pacquiao is. He always was my all-time favourite fighter, but he's not retired anymore. He is my favourite fighter now, yeah. But outside of that, I was a big fan of Lemachenko, who just announced his retirement today. Do you know what I mean? He was a master technician. The footwork, the skill, the technique, he was unbelievable to watch as well. So I was a big fan of him.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever box in Ukraine?
I've never boxed in Ukraine. No, I boxed Ukrainian fighters and been on training camps with Ukrainian fighters, and I've seen the system, you know what I mean? Especially mixing it with Russians and that kind of Eastern European. You see the style that they have, and it's good to mix it, because I use some of that stuff that I've learned over here then in the Americans, you know what I mean, that they haven't seen that kind of style, so it's great to get a mix of it all, yeah.
Do you think if the Eastern Europeans spoke good English, they would have way more superstars?
Oh, definitely, yeah. They'd be way more marketable, there'd be way more to sell them, they'd be all over here, you know what I mean, and this is a hotspot for it. It's just, that's what I'm saying, it's their lack of their social media presence, their English, their speaking, their communication, is what puts them and keeps them in the amateur system for so long, I think, and that's why they don't really develop into successful pros. They can't sell themselves, I think.
And I want to ask, just a little bit behind the scenes as a fighter. A lot of people, they see your fight on telly and that's it, right? They don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Like, especially like earning money and everything else. Could you break down what it's like earning money as a pro? How much you spend? What do you spend each month, like being out here?
Like, that's what I'm saying. People think I'm over here and I live the dream and all that kind of stuff. But over here, like, you have your rent to pay for. Everything in the professional game is expenses. Everyone's looking for something. Your coaches, strength and conditioning, food. This all gets taken into account. So you're looking at a couple of $1,000 a month nearly to provide for yourself out here. Do you know what I mean? So at the same time, everyone sees the social media and they see me out here down by the beach and things like that as well. But it's not all that. You know what I mean? You still got to get by. You still got to pay rent. Do you know what I mean? If you don't pay rent, you're out in the streets. So there's still a life behind of making money outside of the game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how have you found sort of like budgeting and working and everything else, like being a pro?
Yeah, it's tough, you know, I'm trying to balance both of them. I was doing a weekend job, so I was working on a Saturday and Sunday and then I was in the gym during the week, and I was just kind of covering my rent and things like that as well. But like I know a lot of fighters that are starting out are at my position as well. You know what I mean? I'm not the only one that's at this. We're all at this. But I just know once you make it to that next level, then and that's where it'll pay off. So it's just getting the support now in the early days, and I'm grateful for the sponsor I have back home, Golf Buggy for You. He helps me out massively, and believes in me while I'm over here. So it'll eventually pay off.
Is there room for other sponsors?
Oh, plenty. There's always room for sponsors. So do you know what I mean? I'm looking to work with loads of people. I believe I'm going to be one of the best out there, and this is the time now to jump on and help out. Do you know what I mean? I've always said it. There's no need to help all these fighters when we're at the top. Do you know what I mean? When the fighters are meta, these people need to be believing in young fighters and prospects coming up in the game, and that's what makes the storyline. Then, do you know what I mean? Having that backing from the start. So I am always grateful for the support and the backing I've had since my very first fight as an amateur and as a pro. It's been brilliant. So I'm just looking to build on that now.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching you myself for a few years. So to even see you now, five fights in a year as a pro, and what you did in the amateurs and everything else.
Yeah.
There's not many people that are on the trajectory that you're on, and that's not me trying to kiss your ass or anything. Like you can see the way you're going.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what I mean? All it's going to take is one door to open up for me, and then the right person is going to see that and see what I've done and see the dedication and the hard work I put in, and then back me and believe me. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just going to stay working hard, training hard, and building everything until that door opens. You know what I mean?
Who do you think's the best right now in the lightweight division?
A lot of people hate him, but Shakur Stevens has to be, doesn't he? Like, defensive-wise, technique-wise, unbelievable. Now, he's not an entertainer, and this is the entertainment business. But for me, as a fighter, looking at it and knowing how hard this sport is and how hard the techniques are and to do what he does, you have to appreciate that.
So you're only a few years younger than him. Is that a fight you're going to want later down the line?
Oh, definitely down the line, yeah. That's what I'm saying. If he's still about and his hands are still in good shape, I'll take that fight, yeah. But I want to build myself up towards that, and these are the fighters that I look up to at the minute. But down the line, I eventually know that they're going to be possible rivals. Do you know what I mean? So that's about the game, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and I do just want to touch upon again, being a pro now, and obviously being independent on your own. You're doing so much compared to being on the Irish team, where everything was sort of put on a plate for you, where you just turned up and trained. Like, how do you find managing everything as a pro? Like,
that's the one difference I've always noticed. Is when I was an amateur, I had a support team around me. You had your national team. You had people in specific areas that were good at what they'd done. So all I had to do was focus on training and focus on fighting. Whereas a professional, it's a business now. So you got to do all this stuff yourself. You got to go and branch out to all these other people and reach out to them and work with all these people. So that's the tough side of the game, as well as trying to be able to train twice a day, 6 days a week. You have to do this stuff on the side, so it is a full-time job.
And then also trying to earn people's respect, because no one knows who you are here.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm a foreigner over here, do you know what I mean? I came from Ireland over here, so no one knows who I am, so I'm just trying to grow a fan base, trying to communicate with people, try to talk to people, and try to get people to like me for who I am, do you know what I mean? My personality, and not just jump on the bandwagon because I'm a fighter and I'm going to be there. Just like me as a person and get me out there, so that's what we're working towards.
And that actually happened, wasn't it? One of your fights, you come out, there was booze, and by the end of it you were being cheered.
Exactly, my last fight was in California, and I fought a local guy here. I had no one come over from home to support me, do you know what I mean? Because they're so far away and things. But I was used to that in the amateurs anyway. I always fought on my own, and I remember walking out then, I got booed by the crowd and they're all booing, and then the guy came out that I was fighting and he got a big cheer. Put on probably one of my best performances in a pro ring so far. And when I got out of the ring then, I had a load of fans coming up to me that were probably booing me at the start, coming up shaking my hand and asking for pictures and stuff. So it was good to kind of have that underdog story to turn them into fans afterwards, and that's what I just want to grow on now again.
Amazing. And outside of boxing, what do you get up to? Have you got a life out here much, or are you just
it's going to sound boring, yeah, but nah, boxing is my life, you know what I mean? I always tell myself, I know I live out here now, but I always feel like I'm out here for boxing, you know what I mean? So everything is boxing related. My focus is on boxing. When I'm not training, I'm recovering, getting ready for my next session, preparing meals, preparing this, preparing that. So it is tough going, don't get me wrong, it is tough going, but that's the life I chose, you know what I mean? And that's what I need to do to make it. So.
How far away are you until you get to that level where you break? In your head, do you imagine 2 years from now, 3 years from now?
3 to 4 years from now, I have myself fighting for a world title anyway, definitely, yeah. By the age 27, 28, probably, I want to be fighting for a world title, you know what I mean? I don't want to rush it, I want to build it up, and then I know at that time then, that's when I'm going to hit the peak, and that's going to be my breakthrough moment. I thought my breakthrough was going to be qualifying for the Olympic Games, and going to the Olympic Games and things like that. But now I think it's going to be winning the world title when 27, 28 years of age.
Definitely, and boxing's better than ever. And even if you test yourself too early or whatever it may be, right, I'm not going to say you're going to lose at any point, but win, lose or draw, fighters and fans now, they see everything's going in the right direction. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? There's more than just one chance in this game as well. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm Irish. Fighting is in my blood. You know what I mean? You can beat me from post to post. I'm still going to get up and come again. You know what I mean? That's just the way I am. So I know what I mean. Like, things don't work out first time for everyone. But if I don't, I'm still going to come back and try anyway. And I've always done it in my amateur career. And I'm going to do it in the same in the pros.
What is your biggest motivation? Is it the fear of losing? Is it the hunger to win?
Yeah, probably the fear of losing. It's a big thing a lot of fighters don't talk about, but being humiliated and losing in front of a lot of people and things like that, it would be a big insecurity for me, yeah, definitely. But just knowing that I don't come from much and I want to have a life for myself and my family is another motivation, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this from them. They're 5,000 miles away back home, like, you know what I mean? I don't get to see them. I haven't seen them in months. So that's what keeps me going and that's what pushes me on.
Yeah, I'm sure you can do them proud, mate. Well, thank you for your time.
I appreciate it, Ashley.
And
thank you for having me on.
Have a good rest of your day.
Appreciate it, my man.